Blue Beetle is out in theaters this weekend. I got my non-spoiler review for you next. Hey everyone, it's the Outlaw John Rocha here with my non-spoiler review for Blue Beetle, and I can't wait to dive into this movie. And before I do, just remind you all to please subscribe to the channel below and hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the content we do just like this on the channel. And if you want to support us on the Patreon, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/John Rocha. All right, Blue Beetle. This is a film I've been waiting for my whole life. Not specifically a Blue Beetle film, but a film that has the Latino culture front and center, and directed by Angel Manuel Soto, written by Gareth Dunnett Alcazar, and of course starring Xolo Maridueña as Jaime Reyes, as the Blue Beetle here. And I got to tell you my overall thoughts. I loved it. Thoroughly loved it, top to bottom. So much fun. I'd seen some of the negative talk online. I'd seen some people's negative reactions to the trailers. So I was a little nervous walking into the movie. But by the time I walked out, I had a big, stupid grin on my face. And I felt this sense of pride, Latin pride, but also pride of knowing that, yes, this is another great DC movie that is out there for people to enjoy. It's a lot of fun, this movie. It really is. You know, with all the stuff that's been going on with DC and all the stuff going on in our world, it's nice to have a film that has so much fun telling its story. So much fun showcasing this Latin family. So much fun showing this kid getting a scarab attached to him and becoming the Blue Beetle and discovering what that's all about. And it's so much fun to go through the paces here throughout. There's a Miami 1980s vibe to this one. There's even a costume choice or an outfit choice there by Jenny Cord, who's played by BRUNA MARQUEZINE, that looks like something Don Johnson might wear on Miami Vice, and I really enjoyed that vibe. The Latin culture, the way it's celebrated throughout this movie, is really a lot of fun as well. And there's so many great allusions to Latino pop culture stuff, Latino music, the food, the camaraderie amongst the community. All of it is really powerful here. And of course, the family. That's also super important as well. And there's some great fun and funny moments to be had with this family as well. Each of them having their own moments to shine in different ways and entertain you throughout here. But of course, it's all led by Xolo Maridueña, who is fantastic here as Jaime Reyes. He is so good embracing this role. I mean, look, we all saw him grow up on Cobra Kai, or at least you hope a lot of you did. But he is a man now, and it radiates when you're watching him in this movie. And every scene he's in, it radiates how much power he has, embracing this character, embracing his journey. When this comes out of the blue for him, he has to decide if this is the right path for him to walk or not. And that's the basic journey that he's going on throughout the movie. And that's very universal. The family is a very big thing to enjoy in this movie as well. Let's go through them. Melissa Escobedo as Milagro Reyes, who is Jaime's sister. She is great. Their interactions, their chemistry is fantastic. George Lopez here as Uncle Rudy, steals every scene he's in, except for the scenes with Nana, which I'll get to in just a second. But he is so good, and there's so much dimension and depth to his character. He could have easily been a caricature here as a guy who's like the black sheep of the family, but there's more to him, and there are certain moments with him and Jaime Reyes that really come through and are fantastic and really kind of show you this connection they have and this love they have for each other as well. Damien Alcazar, who plays Alberto, that is Jaime's dad, so good. I mean, he's not an overwhelming presence here as a father in the movie. He's a supportive presence. He's a strong presence. And he's got a really good foundation to him and a grounded feeling to him. So when we're watching these interactions between him and Jaime, they really have a lot of depth and power to them as a father and son relationship. I certainly found myself thinking about my dad in those moments as well. ELPIDIA CARRILLO here as Rocio. She is fantastic as Jaime's mom. Not necessarily the same relationship with her son, but certainly a strong relationship with her son. And it's great and supportive and really powerful. And at the end, she has a very funny scene with him where she kind of whips him into shape that I think every Latin kid knows or has had that interaction with their mom. And I thought that was fantastic to see as well. But Nana steals the movie, absolutely. Lopez and as Uncle Rudy may be stealing scenes, Nana is stealing the movie. She is so good here. She slowly builds as the film goes along, and she has a great reveal near the end of the movie that you're like, oh, yes, which I thought was so great to see as well. And of course, played by acting royalty, Adriana Barraza, who I got to interview for Rambo Last Blood. It was so much fun sitting in the room with her and talking with her for about 5 minutes for that film. And she is just a legend in Latin acting, so it's great to see her taking on this role as well. I also like that the film respects the mythology of Blue Beetle. You've got a lot of Easter eggs here for DC fans, but if you're a big Blue Beetle fan and you know the mythology and the history of Blue Beetle in the comics, from the first Blue Beetle to now, there's a lot here for you to enjoy. I've already spoken about the acting and how everybody does, so let's move on to the directing. Angel Manuel Soto, there is such a confidence in his direction here. It is fantastic to see. I mean, he takes us in some really interesting directions that you don't see coming in the movie, but he makes them work. The way he builds to these certain interactions, understanding of being able to make the Latin culture thing very specific in certain moments, but the overall emotional stories that are being told universal. And I think that's not easy to do. Plus, he gets great performances from everybody in this movie. And I don't want to leave Susan Sarandon out when we're talking about performances. She's really good here as Victoria Court. Certainly not a groundbreaking role, and we'll get to my criticisms in just a second, but I think she does a really good job being the antagonist. Bruna Marquezine I've mentioned already, but I want to give her an extra special shout out. Some nice emotion and feeling going on for her, and certainly there's a scene in the film when she's talking about her father that will resonate with people who are watching it. Raul Max Trujillo as Carapax does a really good job as this character, and we get a nice journey with him. And Harvey Guillen, so much fun here as Dr. Sanchez as well. Now, if there's anything I have issues with in the movie, I would say that, as I mentioned with Victoria Court, not a groundbreaking villain. You know, we've seen before where a villain essentially wants to take over the world, wants to use technology that they've constructed or built or co-opted to try to take over the world. I would have liked a villain with a bit more depth. There's a little bit of backstory that's told about her, but it's not enough to really add some interesting new depth and complexity to a character like this. Raul Max Trujillo takes on a majority of the villain aspect of the movie, and I like that. It's Latino versus Latino, and their interactions with him and Jaime when they're fighting throughout the movie, I think, are fantastic. I also think somewhere in the middle with the Jenny Cord storyline, it gets a little jumbled, it gets a little mixed up, and so I think there a bit more streamlining that would have worked here. But overall, I think this film absolutely knocks it out of the park. I give it 4.25 cowboy hats out of 5 cowboy hats. And I think this is one you should absolutely go see and have fun with and enjoy. And for all my Latin people out there, you're gonna love this. If you get a chance to go see it this weekend, and I can't bang this drum loudly enough for you to go see it this weekend, please go see it. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments section below. Hit a like on this video, share it on your social media, and you know, more than anything else, please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, so you see when we're dropping all the content we do here on the Outlaw Nation channel. All right, y'all take care of yourselves, be well, and I'll talk to you next time with a brand new review here on the Outlaw Nation.